Hello, I'm Isabella Linghug, and for my sociology research project, I created a survey to show how family roles are shaped by gender, culture, and economical factors in today's modern society. I will show my findings and connect them to sociological concepts such as culture, gender roles, and family dynamics. And I will also apply these to the three major sociological theories to better understand why family roles are changing in modern society. So before I collected my data, I definitely expected that many people from older generations would still support traditional gender roles and in like family. And I also thought that younger participants would more likely be supporting equality in family roles due to modern social norms. So my survey connects directly to OpenStax, specifically Chapter 2, because of the scientific methods and survey research. So for my project, I developed a research question about family roles and gender, and I collected this through a survey, which is a more common sociological research method. My sample population consisted of mainly teenagers, though, which shows some sampling bias and may have influenced the results towards a more progressive view. I was actually expecting these results as I shared my survey through like Gmail and my social media, which consisted of mainly teenagers. But I actually ran around Fashion Show Mall too to try to get a more broader uh result in my survey, and I did get some older participants going through that. My survey included questions about age, gender, ethnicity, family structure, and personal beliefs. And my goal was to find patterns and connections between people's backgrounds and their view on family roles. So after analyzing my data, I did see some key trends. One of them being that majority of the participants believe that traditional gender roles are changing in today's society. So most participants said that childcare responsibilities should be shared equally between parties, showing strong support for a more egalitarian family structure. And another major trend was that economical factors such as money, jobs, cost of living were identified as the biggest influence on family roles. And this suggests that financial pressures are shaping how families function more than traditional cultural expectations. There was also some more noticeable generational differences as younger participants strongly supported equal gender roles, while older participants were more likely to give a more mixed response or lean slightly towards traditional ideas. This leads to the concept of intergenerational conflict or the generational gap, and this occurs when different generations are holding conflicting values, particularly regarding family hierarchy and individual autonomy. While both groups generally agree that gender roles are changing, the tension lies in how quickly these changes should occur and who holds the most decision making power in the home. I actually found through my articles that I read, one of them being a qualitative examination of cultural influences in parent-child relationships and life satisfaction among Asian American young adults. In that article, it basically showed how that while parents still value traditional roles like specific gender duties, young adults are increasingly critical of these rigid gender roles, and this a cultural distances the gap between a parent's traditional culture and the child's modern American culture is exactly what causes the intergenerational conflict that I see in my mixed generational data. My findings also connect to several key sociology conflicts, including culture, gender roles, and family dynamics, because culture plays a major role in shaping beliefs about family roles, as many participants said that the views were influenced by their upbringing and traditions. However, the data show that cultural norms are changing over time. Intergenerational conflict often arises here as academic research shows that many young adults feel a sense of a cultural distance where they value their family's heritage but still remain critical of traditional emotional distance or rigid gender roles. This leads to a decreased life satisfaction if the young adult feels that their parents' acceptance is conditional based on following traditional roles. Gender roles are also an important concept, as my survey shows a shift away from traditional expectations towards a more equal responsibilities between men and women. And family roles our family dynamics are also changing as well, with more families sharing responsibilities and adapting to modern economical demands rather than following strict traditional structures. And to connect it to like a sociological theory, like one of the three, I chose the conflict theory, as it can you can see how traditional gender roles can be seen as a form of inequality where one group holds more power than the other. Intergenerational conflict is a prime example of this theory, as it highlights the power struggle between parents who want to maintain like traditional authority and younger generations who want to break free from that norm and like live a more progressive and modern type of perspective in life. And many children want to seek more of an equal type of relationship, as my survey shows that many people now support equal roles, suggesting that individuals are challenging these inequalities, and a shift towards these shared responsibilities reflect a push for fairness and reduction in power imbalances between families. Additionally, my research is supported with the sources I found through NSU Library. One example being an article by Din and Kalaha, specifically showing how Asian American cultural values influence family roles and the resulting intergenerational tension. So in the article, it explains how modern families are moving away from strict traditional roles and moving towards more of an egalitarian structure, which directly matches my survey results. And another source discusses how economical pressures are changing family dynamics, supporting my findings that financial factors are the biggest influence on family roles today. A third source that I found highlights how traditional ideas like the male breadwinner role still exist but are gradually declining, which connects to the mixed responses I've found in older participants. So specifically, like another article that I found was the evolution of American family structures, and in that article, it showed how like family structures have changed in the United States over time, and it showed how like modern day society, like they have a more diverse type of family, because back then it was mainly a nuclear type of family where the male is definitely like the breadwinner, the wife is like the homemaker. But now that like there's more single parents families and blended family with like dual income, it shows how like it is like more common, or it shows how it's easier to have like a more equal type of relationship in a family, as it's not just the male being on top and it's become more normalized. And you can definitely see this from my survey, as nearly every participant, especially in the age of 13 to 18 and 19 to 30, they said yes to the question of whether traditional gender roles are changing. So in conclusion, my survey shows how family roles in today's society are becoming more equal and flexible, mainly due to economical factors, as like most families are dual income now, like it's not just the man being dominant, and the changing cultural norms. However, traditional roles or ideas still exist, especially among older individuals. The overall trend towards greater equality and adaptation in modern families have been seen. And this project helped me better understand how sociological concepts and research methods can be applied towards real-world issues and how society continues to evolve over time. I definitely saw that like the younger generations are doing a better job at like having a more equal type of society and not letting old cultural norms like control them, as many of them like just clicked that economical factors mattered more. And this was a really good learning opportunity too. I got to see like why family norms like are like this way, and like how different families are. I saw a lot of blended families and a lot of single parent families, and I got to see like how like that changed their views on what they thought was normal and stuff.